Hello. I was fumbling around with my mouse for a little bit. How's it going? Hello, hello. Listen. I'm gonna go full cam for the first time pretty much ever. I think I've only done this like once. You're gonna see my epic background. I actually spent a while looking for this, which is funny. Considering I never used it because there's no reason to use it. But look at that. Boom. My trashy background. My room does not look like this in real life, although it's not so far off. Not as far as off as I would like it to be. But anyways, how's it going? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's here, the last stream of the year. And quite a year it has been. Not as exciting as it maybe could have been, you know. But it's been fun. I've played a lot of games, streamed a decent number of hours. I mean, I guess not as many as people that actually stream, but still, for me, it's kind of a lot of hours. Anyways, if you're curious what's going on, currently I'm stalling for time because I did not feel like getting this pre-prepared. I probably should have. Basically, the stream is going to be a tier list of all the games that I've played on stream. Basically, just ranking where I like them. Now, that does mean some are going to be an S, and some are not going to be an S. Some are going to be kind of low on the tier list, but I mean, that's just how it goes. But right now, I'm actually trying to get all of the, like, thumbnails or whatever for the images, you know, on Tier List Maker. Which reminds me, I did actually have a series on YouTube at one point called Tier List Tuesday. I didn't do that many episodes. I only did like, I don't even know, like 7, 8, 9, something like that. I guess I can go check if I felt like it, but I don't. But yeah, I used to have a series on YouTube for tier lists, so I thought it'd be interesting, be a little bit more personality. Anyways, it didn't work out, obviously. I don't know, it was hard for me to find tier lists that seemed interesting to do that I also like a had the ability to speak on, you know? Like I had this huge bookmark tab for tier lists, and there's like, I don't even know, like 50 tier lists on there or something. But half of them I don't know anything about any of the, like anything. I don't know anything about anything. So it just felt awkward for me to do. So I was like, whatever, I won't. So I kind of ran low on material pretty quickly. But the last episode of Tier List Tuesday was actually, let me recenter myself as well. It was actually ranking tiers in tier lists. It was like, F tier is like pretty F tier, you know what I'm saying? A tier, it can go A tier. I don't know. It was a very short video. And honestly, another reason why the series kind of died is I just forgot to record it the next week after that. I didn't plan for it to end, but it was just like, excuse me, I had to clear my throat. It was just like, I forgot to record it, and so it felt weird to like go back and upload it after. It's like, whatever. Nobody watches it anyway, so who cares? Plus, I liked to play music relating to like the thing that I was doing, and I think one of my videos, or like a couple of my videos, had copyright claims against them basically. So like, whatever, it's not worth it. But yeah, if you're curious, I have apparently played 38 games on stream, which is a lot more than I was thinking. Honestly, I thought it was going to be like an okay amount, but 38 over the course of 192 streams, that is not bad. It's not bad at all. I didn't look into this that much, but I do know Ni no Kuni is like, in fact, the game that I played the longest, in terms of both number of streams and actual like gameplay time. I did talk about it a little bit at the end of the previous stream, I believe. But I don't remember what the numbers were. Anyways, now if you're curious about the game that I played the least amount of time, there were actually 4 games that I played over the course of a single stream. That was my first stream ever. It was, basically my idea was that I would just play a bunch of itch.io games. And yeah, that was it. And I was just going to play a bunch of itch.io games. Because I mean, there's so many free games on there. And I was like, I want to show them off, right? Show them off to the world. Anyways, probably got 0 views, but I played 4 games in that stream. I think the 3 contenders are Carlson, Six Cats Under, and what's it called? Fragments of Euclid. That was another one. Probably Carlson or Six Cats Under was the one that was actually the shortest of those. Fragments of Euclid took me a minute. It's like kind of a puzzle game. I mean, I'm going to talk about these games more later, so I don't know if I really need to do it right now. But like I said, I'm kind of trying to stall for time because I forgot to... Well, I didn't forget. I just didn't feel like doing this beforehand. I thought maybe I'd pad out the stream a little bit. And it's working, I guess. But yeah, after today, I'm going to be on vacation for 2 weeks. So I'm not going to be streaming again until January 9th. January 9th, which is a long time. But that's because I'm skipping the weekends, right? So I'm skipping like the weekend and then 1 weekday's worth of week and then a weekend. So I'm missing 3 weekends and 2 weekday weeks. Make sense? And obviously I'm doing that because of work. I, wanted to take off for 2 weeks. I might as well get the weekend off. Well, I do get the weekend off automatically, but I'm not going to be at home during the weekends because Anyways, don't worry, I'm almost done. This will all be over soon. But yeah, I've played a few games and like looking back, there were some games that I didn't like, but most of the games I've played I thought were pretty fun. I was kind of thinking like, where might I put some of these games? And already a lot of them I was thinking I'm gonna just put in S tier. So I might have to be a little bit more critical because we can't have like half the games I've played be S tier. Not that that was going to happen, but still, S tier should be reserved for the best, right? I don't know. That's how I feel. All right, enough rambling for now. I now simply have to upload the images to Tier List Maker. Let's see how long that takes. 1, 2. Can I just like drag all of them in here? That would be cool. Nope. Doesn't seem like that's gonna work. So let's not do that. All right. I've downloaded all the images. So now I just have to drag them in. Oh, no. Why did that just happen? Well, that's cool. Okay. I tried to open the things, and then it opened it in a tab. Okay, there we go. I mass imported them, I think. Let me check the numbers. 6, 9, 12, 14, 28, plus 10 is 38. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Here it is, everyone. This is the tier list. Now I have to actually show it on the screen. Do I have... This better not show the wrong tab. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, hold up. Let me just... There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. I'm just going to crop the top part out. You guys don't need to see what I got going on up there. Here we are, 38 games. I think these are going to be in alphabetical order almost. Is that right? This is not alphabetical order. This is a random order, completely arbitrary. Let me go ahead and go in the order that I actually played them in because I think that's more interesting. You guys won't be able to see this, but that's okay. So the first game that I ever played on stream is a little known game called Six Cats Under. It's actually the first item here. I'm also going to add a tier below this. Don't worry, this game's not going in that tier, but I do need an F tier. Some games are going to go in F tier, okay? Oh my god. Okay. God dang it. I don't know how to use this thing. Clear row. Change the color. Okay. Cool. So this game, it's basically like a point and click type of game. It's really short. You're like an old lady that died, maybe? Like you literally are just an old lady that died and you're trying to let your cats free from your apartment. That way they don't starve to death. It's kind of like morbid, but it was an okay game. It was cute. The thing is, it's short. Short games can be fun, and the fact that it's free is nice, but it's like, it's whatever, right? It's not an unforgettable experience or anything, so... By the way, I kind of feel like putting on some music. Should I do that? I'll put something on. Copyright free music YouTube. Oh, Lord. Okay. Hold on. I don't... Lo-fi summer vibes. Is this real? Okay. Sure. That's fine. We can listen to this, I guess. kind of like annoyingly loud for me. Probably just my volume is loud. Okay. God, you can see my scroll bar on the right. That's embarrassing. There we go. Okay, so like I said, this game, it's fine, but it's nothing special, so I'm going to put it in C. And to clarify, let's go ahead and talk about what these tiers are, okay? Anything that's C or above is a game that, like, I don't regret playing. It's like, C is like, it was fine, it was nothing special, I don't really care about it, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend anybody else to play it, it's just a fine game, right? Like, it exists. B is like, yeah, that was a fun game. It was a good time. A tier is like, this game's really cool, and I like it, but I don't know how much I would like continue to play it. I think S tier is going to be like, I want to play these games more, that's how cool they are. That doesn't mean that I will play them more, but they're cool, and I liked playing them, and all that. F tier is like, this game sucks, and I didn't like it. So, sorry for anybody whose games get in D or F or C. Just how I feel, okay? Just my personal opinion, and you know what? That's just how life is, right? Not everybody's gonna love them. And then D tier is basically in between C and F. Makes sense? Cool. So yeah, 6 Cuts Under, it's a fine game, but it's nothing crazy, so whatever. Next up is Fragments of Euclid. I guess that's the second one that I played. This game is also C tier. It was okay. It's like a perspective kind of puzzle game, so it's similar to, like, you know, it's got the ideas of like Escher stuff, where it's like, oh, the stairs and then the perspectives and like everything's weird. I don't know. I'm sure Escher was inspired by something else, but that's what I always think of when it's like the stairway. So that's kind of what this game's about. It's all about perspective and like when you walk up and around the walls and then gravity changes and all that. It's an okay game, but again, it's nothing really that special in my opinion. Yeah, it's okay. I don't mind it. But it's also relatively short. I mean, all the games that I played in my first stream are relatively short, right? Like, I fit them all into the span of like 2.5, 3 hours. So, none of them are going to be crazy. Next up is going to be the first D tier. Sorry, Carlson. But it just didn't really vibe with me. I mean, in general, I'm not much of a shooter player. So, I don't really care for first-person shooters. This game is kind of like a parkour first-person shooter. I feel like it was trying to be similar-ish to like what's it called, Hotline Miami, which actually there's another game that's just like that on itch.io called Angerfoot. I don't think I played that on stream, but I think I played it a little bit off stream just to see what it was all about. Angerfoot is definitely much more in the Hotline Miami style. I think Carlson is trying to be a little bit like Mirror's Edgy, right? With like the parkour aspects are more focused than necessarily just the shooting. Maybe, yeah, but I don't know. The game was like at super early stages when I played it, like demo for sure. But still, it just wasn't really my thing. I didn't really have that much fun with it, so I'm gonna put it in D tier, excuse me. I apologize. But you know, if you're into that kind of thing, check it out. I think there's a demo. It might even be on like, you know, green light on Steam or whatever, if that's still a thing. But yeah, I think they're planning on doing a full release, so who knows? It could be fun. Next up is Devil Express. This is like it's not a visual novel game, but you know, it's one of those where you kind of like walk around and talk to a lot of people. Basically, the concept is that you're a delivery person that works for this app, and the app is like, I don't know, owned by the devil or something. And so you go to this place that you end up learning later can't be gone to by anybody else, and then there's this apartment that have all these weird monsters, because like everybody's like a monster, an animal or something in that game. And then there's like a devil demon person, and I don't know, it's all kinds of messed up. There's some like lighthearted nature to it. It's kind of goofy comedy, but there's also like, you know, some like life lessons that it's trying to put onto you and inspire you to have a better life, I guess. It's okay. I don't know, it was nothing special. Like, as far as text-based games go, I tend to prefer it if it's like a cool story or like mystery stuff. So like we'll end up seeing later the Professor Layton games. I like those a lot because there's a lot of puzzles and the story is what really grabs me. Another example that I haven't played on stream is like the Ace Attorney games. Those are really text heavy, but I like them a lot because they are because they have a really cool story, right? And like that's kind of the big appeal for them. This game, it's fine. Again, not a bad game, just not really my vibe. Next up is Insurmountable. This is the game that I played on my second stream right after these four. This is also it's an Epic Games free game that I got. It's kind of like a roguelite game where you're like climbing mountains and trying to not die in the mountains. There's some weird lore for it. I don't know. I only played it once on stream. Obviously did not really catch my eye, but also I was only planning on playing it for a single stream, so that doesn't say as much. But yeah, I'm putting it in D, I think. Like, so even though short games are going to have a harder time getting placed higher, they also have a harder time getting placed lower. On the other hand, longer games have a higher chance of being placed higher or lower, right? Insurmountable is one of those examples where it's like, if this was just a short little game that was like kind of like a tech demo, it'd be like, all right, that's probably a C. But because I know it's like a full-fledged game, it just doesn't really vibe with me. I'm not really into it, and so I don't really have any interest in playing it more. Like I said, it's a roguelite. It has some interesting things, but it's also just too non-engaging for me. And it seems really grindy, and the gameplay loop seems really repetitive to me. Like when you're playing a roguelite, or when I'm playing a roguelite, in order to keep me engaged, the gameplay loop has to be really fun, but it also has to be different every time, right? So like Slay the Spire is kind of an example, Binding of Isaac is an example, right? Like those types of games. The game's fun, the basic gameplay is fun, but also it's just a different adventure every single time. And to me, it felt like Insurmountable was not going to be unique enough in between different runs. So, just my thoughts. Next up is the Made in Abyss game. This is actually like the game that I wanted to stream first, but I was like, I'll ease my way into it. And this was actually the game, like this was kind of before I came up with my streaming schedule as much. So I still had the days set out. It was like, I knew I wanted to stream on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, but the time was really flexible. I didn't have a set schedule. Eventually I ended up settling on like 2 hours a day, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, just so that it was standardized for me. So I had a schedule, so that the viewers had a schedule, right? And also the 2 hours is partially so that I don't burn myself out, partially because my phone can't last that long usually. It's usually only like 2 hours. But yeah, like Made in Abyss, I had some crazy long streams. Like I think I had a stream that was 4 hours long for Made in Abyss, which is absurd. But that being said, this game's going in S tier. Like, I'm just gonna be straight up. Made in Abyss is like my favorite anime I've ever seen, and it is an incredible masterpiece of a show. The game is okay. I mean, I'm putting it in S tier because I like it. I liked playing it a lot. I ended up beating it. I didn't 100% it technically because there's like way too much stuff you have to do to 100% it. But I did beat like all the bosses, and I got most of the achievements. Did I get all the achievements? There's no way, right? No. Oh, I'm on the wrong Steam account. It said I had 0 achievements unlocked. Maybe I did unlock all the achievements. I don't think I should have. They shouldn't have given me all the achievements because I didn't do everything in the game, but whatever. Anyways, it's a really fun game, and like it definitely gives you the feeling of like exploring the abyss. I think that's one of the really cool aspects of it, is it does feel like you're going on an expedition in this unknown environment, and you're coming back with like all this treasure, and you're going back in stronger, right? Like there is a really cool gameplay loop there. I think in general the game is really repetitive, which is just the nature of the game. I think the overall, the number of things that you can do feels a little bit shallow. Like if there was a greater depth in terms of gameplay and stuff that you could do, and like the types of weapons you could have, the types of monsters, right? Like if there was more complexity here, I think the game would be amazing. It's still good and I still enjoy it, but there's definitely a feeling of shallowness when it comes to like, you know, weapons, armor, that kind of stuff. It's still a really fun game though, and definitely if you like Made in Abyss, I would check it out. I can't guarantee you're gonna like it because the game is like unnecessarily brutal. I did get all the achievements. Whatever. But yeah, it's a really fun game. I liked it a lot. I played it for I think like 13 streams. For a while it was my most streamed game. I mean 39.3 hours is forever. Up next is Sonic Frontiers, another game I was really excited to play. There are some games on here that I knew that I was going to stream. Most of the games on here I had no idea I was going to stream. I was just looking for something to play. But like especially these early few games where like I know I want to play this. I'm waiting until I start streaming to play it. And Sonic Frontiers is another one. This might come as a surprise. I'm going to put it in S tier though. Listen, I have not played many Sonic games in my life. I've really only played Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2. But like, Sonic Adventure 2, I think is one of the coolest games that I've ever played. Which is not to say it's one of the best games I've ever played, right? Like, there's way more that I would rather play than Sonic Adventure 2, but I think just the impact that it's had on me and just like the concepts of the game are so interesting. And like, honestly, the GameCube era, unparalleled for me in terms of nostalgia. So many cool GameCube games that I just look at and I'm like, that game was sick, that game was sick, that game was sick. Like Metroid Prime, Sonic Adventure 2, Luigi's Mansion, Mario Sunshine, all those games are great. Which is, again, not to say that they're like some of my favorite games ever. I wouldn't necessarily go back to them, but still, they are just really great games. And I have a lot of nostalgia for Sonic Adventure 2 in particular. And so when I found out about Sonic Frontiers, which is kind of a return to the 3D Sonic that I played, right? Because keep in mind, that's the Sonic that I know. I never played 2D Sonic, and I never played the like modern era Sonic games with like, you know, Colors or Black Knight or Seven Rings or whatever. Was it? Yeah, it was Black Knight, right? Like I didn't play those types of games, or like Unleashed, right? So I only know Sonic Adventure, and Sonic Frontiers felt to me like a return to that. And so I was really excited to play it. I played it. It has its flaws for sure, but they actually released some like basically free DLC expansions for the game. I think like Ultimate Frontier or something. I don't know what they called it. It was something stupid like that. Into the Horizon. The Final Horizon. Never mind. The Final Horizon. I think there's like some extra story elements and then some extra missions maybe. So like definitely the game came out unfinished, which is unfortunate. But they obviously have taken their time to try and finish the game that they created because they like it and I like it. And the final boss was cool, the music was cool, just the overall feeling that it gave was really enjoyable. And I don't regret playing it at all. I hope that they keep up with this formula because I think it works for Sonic. Again, it's the only thing that I know, but it's what I want. I want more of this 3D open world adventure like Sonic. I think it's really fun, and I think I like the darker atmosphere in the game. Like they definitely need to keep it lighthearted. They don't want to go like Shadow the Hedgehog edgy mode, but like, you know, the adventure games, especially Sonic Adventure 2, it has the lighthearted nature of Sonic, but also has a more mature tone, which I think is a really nice balance, right? And this game I think sticks with that a little bit. I just think it's really cool. Anyways, moving on. Plague Tale Innocence. This game's okay. It's nothing amazing. I'll definitely say that much. Plague Tale Innocence is not my favorite game ever, but it's a fine game. And there is a sequel. I did actually plan to play the sequel, honestly. I honestly 100% plan to play the sequel at some point. I kind of forgot about it until now. And also, there's so many games that I wanted to play. So I never got around to it, but I might play the sequel at some point. Who knows? But yeah, Plague Tale Innocence, it's like a story-based game. I realized I was explaining the earlier itch.io games. I don't need to explain like Sonic Frontiers, do I? If you either know Sonic or you don't know Sonic. But yeah, it kind of is like similar to Last of Us in a way where it's like that type of gameplay style where there's like crafting and stealth and you got to kill enemies and like run from enemies and like it's all about like the story and the characters at the end of the day. But the gameplay does exist as well. Anyways, it's a fine game. Again, nothing special, but there's some cool story moments in there. I don't know how they made a sequel, but I guess I'll find out if I play the sequel. Next up is Ender Lilies. This is the game that really made me want to try more Metroidvanias. For a long time, I thought that I was not a Metroidvania fan at all. I thought that I hated Metroidvanias because I don't like backtracking. I don't like backtracking game. I don't like having to search and like scramble to find things. And I think I had that misconception because I played Super Metroid and I played Metroid Prime. And those games are older, obviously. Whereas newer Metroidvanias have a lot more like user friendliness, I guess, is what's it called? I don't remember what the correct terminology is, but you know what I'm talking about, right? It makes it easier for the players to actually like explore things and find things and know what's missing. And I think that's smart. I think that's really smart thing to do. It's like it's not fun to just wander around hoping to find something, right? But yeah, this game had that, and it really made me think more about playing more Metroidvanias, which I ended up doing on stream. But getting back to this game, just purely this game, it's amazing, in my opinion. I think the atmosphere is, like, beautiful, serene, creepy, but also, like, calming, especially with the music. Oh my god. And then I really like the gameplay and, like, the weapon system. Basically, whenever you kill bosses or like certain enemies, maybe it's like you get their soul and then you can resummon their soul to use as an attack, and that's all of your attacks. I just think that's so sick, first of all, but also I love like weapon and attack customization in games. I just like that's just so cool, and like the fact that you can see their spirit throwing out the move, amazing. This game's just, it's great. The exploration aspects are fun. The music is amazing. I think, I don't know if the entire soundtrack is done by Millie, but there are definitely quite a few songs that are done by that. I think it might be the entire OST. Either way, the OST is great. The bosses are interesting. The enemies are cool. Like I said, the atmosphere is great. The story is whatever. I don't really care. Okay, the story is fine, but it's nothing special. But everything else definitely carries this game. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be a sequel or DLC, so I won't be able to play it anymore. But I wish there was more to this game, because it was a lot of fun. Next up is Symphony of War: The Nephilim Saga. I will put this in A tier. This used to be the game that I had the most streams of, I'm pretty sure. I had 15 streams of this game, if I am counting, or if I remember correctly. It may have been more than 15, actually, now that I think about it. Let me just go ahead and look, right? Anyways, this is a tactical RPG similar to something like Fire Emblem, if you know about that game. But what really sets it apart is that you can build your squad. Okay, that's why I really thought it was cool about this game, and what made me want to play it is that each of your units is actually a squad of characters, and in between battles you can add units, remove units, change their equipment, change their classes. Like there's a class up system, right? It really reminded me of a game that I played a long time ago called Brigandine, which I've talked about on stream before, but that's like one of the first tactical RPGs that I played. And that game I love so much because you can customize the monsters in each of your knight squads, and then also like level them up and evolve them, attach equipment to them. You can level up the knights as well, and they're super strong. And it's like it's like a war game basically. This game isn't a war game; it's just a tactical RPG. But that squad building element really drew me in, and I think the game is solid. It's a solid game. It's fun. There are some flaws. They did come out with the DLC, which I will probably play at some point. I wish they didn't like try to anime-fy their characters. but that is what it is, you know. Anyways, it's a fun game. There's some cliches. The dialogue and story is mid, but the gameplay itself is cool. The only thing is that it's kind of easy. Even on the hardest difficulty, it's kind of easy. So if you're looking for a challenge, I don't know if this game will give it to you. But yeah, otherwise, good game. Super Meat Boy. I'll put it in B. I was gonna put it in A, but I realized that it's actually not really like my favorite game. It's a good game, don't get me wrong, but I never ended up beating it fully, and I don't really have an interest in doing so. It's just a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I'm not into that, personally. A lot of people are. A lot of people can spend like hours fighting a single boss in Dark Souls, and then when they finally beat it, they get like the most hype ever. That's not me. I don't like feeling like I'm wasting my time. It's obviously not a waste of time, because eventually, like, you're getting better, and eventually you're going to beat it. But just dying to a level for like 40 minutes in the same spot is like, meh. I think the only reason why I was able to survive for so long is because I was streaming, and I actually had like somebody watching. But, actually, I don't even know how long I had somebody watching. Anyways, whatever. Listen. Super Meat Boy, it's a good game, and it makes sense that it's so popular. I don't dislike the game. I liked it, right? I mean, I beat the main game, and I played some of the extra chapters. Actually, I might have even beaten... I don't know. I beat some extra chapters, but there's a lot of games still left to be played. I don't plan on going back and beating it, but it's a fun game, and I can't complain about it. Plus, I think I got it pretty cheap. Ori and the Blind Forest. This is an A tier, I think. I think both of them are probably A tier. And I think Will of the Wisp is probably better, right? I'm not doing it in order. I'm not going to bother. But yeah, I mean, they're essentially the same game. Just Ori and the Will of the Wisps is like more mechanics and bigger map, probably. I played these games back to back, though. And it is a cool game. Again, Metroidvania, a lot of incentivization to explore, a lot of really cool movement options. I think that's what I really like about this game, is the movement. There's so many ways that you can move around the map. I think some of the most of any Metroidvania I played, if not the most of any Metroidvania that I played. Not that I played many. But yeah, it's a really fun game. The art style is beautiful, right? The world looks amazing. The music is cool. The enemies and boss fights are really interesting, especially in the second game. Like, don't get me wrong, the first game is good. And I considered saying the first game is better, but then I realized the second game is better in pretty much every way, except the ending makes no sense to me. I guess the ending of the first game doesn't make much sense either, but whatever. The story, don't play these games for the story. I'm just throwing that out there. Some people might like the story of these games. I think the story sucks. It doesn't make any sense, but the gameplay is great. Just like the actual feel of playing the game is amazing. I'm not going to put them in S tier, but they're close, I think. I think they're really good. If Ender Lilies was an S tier, these might go in there, but I can only put like one Metroidvania up there. Slay the Spire. So I actually played Slay the Spire like twice on stream, so I figured I'd put it on here. Slay the Spire is good. I don't want to put it in S tier because I'm not addicted to it, but it is definitely a good game. It's a great game. I think I like Binding of Isaac more as far as roguelites go, just because I think the gameplay is more interesting in Binding of Isaac. Like deck builder, roguelite, it's fine. Not my favorite. But Slay the Spire is obviously an extremely well-designed game. There's a reason why it's so popular, has so many mods, still has a super active community. It's fun, and it's good. It's quality. And I'm interested to see what the developers have in store next. I know there's that whole thing where they were like making another game secretly, I guess, and then what was it, Unity did their whole thing of like licensing stuff, and then they're like, alright, well, we're done with Unity now, we're going to Godot. I'm interested to see what they have in store next, because Slay the Spire is a good game. Hope it lives up to its predecessor. I'm not going to talk about this much because I only played it like twice on stream. If you want to know my thoughts, go watch my YouTube channel where I have over 100 videos of me playing Slay the Spire. Next up is Omega Strikers. I played this game like 3 or 4 times on stream, I want to say. 3 or 4 streams, maybe even more than that. I'm putting an S tier. Mega Strikers, it's really unfortunate that it just can't grow community, and I'm a contributor to that. I'll be honest, right? Like, I haven't played it that often. I've just been busy playing other games. But yeah, I guess if you don't know, it's basically a 3v3 type of game where it's like you're in an arena and there's a goal and there's a puck that you're trying to score on the other team's goal. You have these characters that have abilities, and you can like knock each other out and all that. It's really cool. It's a really fun game, but unfortunately the player count is not so great. And so from what I remember, they're going to stop supporting updates for the game. The game servers are still going to be up, and they're still going to do like patches for bugs and maybe like balance changes, but there's not going to be any new content in the game, which I think is actually fine. Like, I don't think this type of game needs more content. I think a lot of games don't necessarily need more content, but you know, they release more content to try and make more money. But like, yeah, I mean, League of Legends has like 180 characters, okay? Why are you making more characters? Anyways, Mega Strikers, it's a really fun game. It's unfortunate that they just can't gather more player base, but I'm excited to see what comes from the studio, because I think they've made something amazing. I mean, I put it in S tier, right? Like, I think it's an amazing game. It's just, unfortunately, I like League of Legends, and so between the two, I'm more inclined to play League of Legends than Omega Strikers. But I think it's a really good formula, and I hope that people keep playing it, and that there's a resurgence at some point. Alright, Solstice. Oh my god, this game. Unfortunately, this game is not that good, but I don't regret playing it at all, even though it also has nudity, and if anybody watches my YouTube video on it, I might get banned off the platform. But this game's fun. And I'm really a fan of the source material that it was based off of. I guess I shouldn't say that. It was 100% heavily inspired by like a lot of the seinen manga of the like 90s and early 2000s. So like Berserk and Claymore are the two that I know of. Mostly probably Claymore, but I think Berserk, I'm sure, inspired some of it. But Claymore is the main inspiration, and I love that manga. The monster designs are my favorite thing in the entire world. Like, that's why I love it so much, really, is the monster designs. And this game delivers to an extent, and it does give you the feeling of being in like a dark, gritty world like that. It's also super heavily inspired by Devil May Cry in terms of gameplay. The only problem is that I don't like the gameplay that much. It's not really my type of game. I've played Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I played a little bit of Nier Automata. I played a little bit of Devil May Cry 1. I played this game. I played a little bit of Bayonetta. It doesn't vibe with me, sadly. Just those like combo action type games. I'm not into them. And so I wasn't super into the gameplay of this game. I think the stance change mechanic is actually really cool. A lot of people were like complaining about it and like how enemies run away. I never felt anything like that. Like, I think in general, everything works fine. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Just not my favorite type of game. But I think it's good. And if that is your type of game, I would at least look at it to see if it interests you. It may not necessarily be your favorite, especially if you're used to like Devil May Cry, which is probably a better game. But I think this game has a lot of promise, and it's really cool. And they actually released an expansion, or like an update after I finished playing it, that lets you play as like the final transformation just in the base game, which I was literally talking about when I beat the game. It's like, I wish we could have just done that in the base game. But they did kind of set themselves up for a sequel. I don't think they're going to make a sequel, but who knows? If they do, I might check it out. Hearthstone. I did stream Hearthstone a few times. I played Battlegrounds, and I played like their weird game mode that's basically just a gacha mobile game. And I played like a couple of the Hearthstone like main games. Anyways, look, it's a solid game. I like Battlegrounds. Their gacha game is like fine. It's nothing amazing, but it's fine. And it's all free, right? Like literally everything is free. So can't complain. I'm just going to put it in solid B. I used to play Hearthstone a decent amount when it was a card game. I was never particularly good, and I never spent any money, so let's leave it there. Oh, you know what game I skipped? Before Ender Lilies, I played Professor Layton. and the Curious Village. I'm gonna put this in S tier. It's even before 74. Okay, so this would have been the first A tier. I like Professor Layton a lot. It's definitely my type of game. I like interesting story, and I like puzzles and that type of stuff. And Professor Layton is full of puzzles and riddles and story and characters and character. Right? Like it's a super, I don't know, like flashy in terms of the characters. And I think it's really cool. There are definitely a lot of puzzles that boggled my mind, but that was fun. I like having mentally stimulating games, and this was one of those. So there you go, Professor Layton in the Curious Village. Next up is Professor Layton in the Diabolical Box. I'm also going to put that in A tier. Between the two, I think I probably prefer Diabolical Box. There was just more there, like more stuff to do, more puzzles. The puzzles were kind of interesting, and actually like a decent number of the puzzles from the first game I had seen before. By decent number, I mean like 4 or 5. But yeah, Diabolical Box, cool game. The stories in the game are nothing crazy. Like the plot twists are meh. The plot twist in the first game I kind of saw coming. The plot twist in the second game made literally 0 sense. And also there's like a villain in the game that just never shows up really. He just is there and nobody cares about them. So that's weird. But yeah, anyways. I mean, he shows up at the end, but nobody knows who he is. I don't know. Whatever. Listen, games are fun. Story makes no sense. That's all you gotta know. Jack Move. I'll put it in B tier. This is a game I was actually really looking forward to because I ended up playing the demo a while back. I don't know how or why. I think I literally just saw it. It's called Jack Move Icebreaker, and I got super excited for the game because it's a super stylized JRPG inspired game, and I love pixel art. Really good pixel art drives me crazy in a good way because I think it's so cool to see and I miss it. I wish more games had it. Which, speaking of, we're going to talk about a game later that has really good pixel art. But for now, Jack Move. It's a cool game. It's relatively short, in my opinion, especially as far as JRPGs go, but there's a decent amount there. The price point is not too high. So if you like JRPGs, give it a try. Like I said, it's really stylized. It's a little bit cliche and all that, but whatever. Who cares? It's fun. There's a cool like equipment aspect and like skill aspect where it's like you have to equip skills using like microchips or something. I don't know. It's fun. And if you don't know if you want to play it, try the demo. The demo is essentially just the opening of the game. So, Slime Rancher 2. This is a good game. I'll put Slime Rancher in A. I played the first one a little bit, and I played the second one a little bit more, I guess. This game, I didn't complete all the stuff that was available at the time, but it is in early access, so they're constantly releasing more content. I think they've released one additional island after I stopped playing, and there was also an island in the game at the time when I stopped playing. So there's a ton to do in the game. It's just super chill, super relaxing. Like, I think this game is probably more punishing as far as like strictness in terms of feeding your guys, and like you gotta feed them more. But it's the same Slime Rancher that you know and love from the first game. If you like the first game, you'll like the second one. That's all I have to say about that. Six Master Shadows. I am trying to speed up because I'm trying to make this relatively short. I gotta get out of here by 9, okay? Six Master Shadows, I'm just gonna be straight up. I'm putting it in D. I almost want to put it in F, but I don't think any game is gonna be put in F except for one and only. Anyways, Six Master Shadows, it's not a bad game. It's just when you've played the Arkham games, this game looks so much worse in comparison because the Arkham games are so good. They're so good. And I'm pretty sure the Spider-Man games are also supposed to be really good. I don't think they're that similar, but like obviously the general basic gameplay is somewhat similar. But yeah, the Arkham games are so good. Please play them if you haven't already. I've only played City, Origins, and Night. I haven't played Asylum, but those games are great. This game, not great, really frustrating, really punishing for me personally. The challenges, like, you don't have to do the challenges, I know, but I wanted to do the challenges. They're just like so time consuming, and like I didn't even know you could like save and load, or like I would forget to save, so I had to restart the first level like 20 times. Anyways, it was not my favorite game. It's a fine game, but it's really simple, and you can kind of tell. You can tell that it's aged. There is a sequel. Maybe the sequel's better. I own it. I don't know if I'm gonna play it. I'll leave it at that. The Silent Age. This game is fine. It's fine. It's nothing special. And like, it doesn't, like, the story is kind of stupid, and like the characters are kind of dumb, and like, what am I trying to say? I don't know, like the plot twist, quote unquote, at the end is like, you can see it coming from a mile away. And by a mile away, I mean like 30 minutes before, but still, it's like, it's supposed to be a shocking revelation, but it's really obvious when you're leading up to it. The gameplay loop is fine. It's like a point and click type of game. I don't know. It's nothing crazy. It's a fine game. If you like point and click games, maybe you'll like it. The story is somewhat interesting, and like the general gameplay of being able to switch between like the future and the present, I think is cool. I think that is really cool. But yeah, it's just like, you know, you can kind of see the twists coming, in my opinion. It's nothing special. I think there's another game I got for free on Epic. Lego Builder's Journey. See, again, this game's just kind of boring in my opinion. I was not vibing with it. It's like, I thought it was going to be so much different than what it was, but it's basically just like a story-based game where you use Legos to move your characters throughout the world, and that's it. No challenge, story's boring, it's meant for kids, not kids, it's like a family-based game, right? It's like meant for all ages, quote unquote, but no, it's just meh. I have nothing else to say. Unbeatable White Label, you know, I'll put it in B. If you played, was it Muse Dash, I think it's called? Is that right? That doesn't even sound right. Let me look it up. Muse Dash. Yeah, okay, if you played Muse Dash, this game is fairly similar in terms of controls. It's also like similar to Tycho, I guess, where it's got like an upper part and a lower part. This game does have like left and right sections, so there are technically 4 different buttons that you have to hit, but it's like upper, lower, and then left and right. Right, so it's the 4 quadrants. It's a cool game. It's a rhythm game, right? Also, actually, maybe the left and right doesn't matter. Maybe it is 2 button. I don't know. Look, I don't care anymore. It's a rhythm game. If you like rhythm games, try it out. I think this is a demo. I think it's been a like as a demo, early access, quote unquote, whatever. I keep saying that, quote unquote. I think it's been in this stage for a long time, but it's a fun game. It's stylized. The music is okay. It's free. You might as well try it if you like rhythm games. Call of the Sea. This game's okay. I almost want to put it in A, but I think I'm not. I think it's probably like a B+ on the lower end. It's a fun game. It's like a story based. You walk around, you know, it's one of those. You just walk around, pick up items, do stuff, but the game was more intricate than I was expecting in terms of the actual like exploration aspects. And I thought that was cool. And like the puzzles were somewhat interesting. I think it was fully voice acted, which is a huge plus, like super impressive. Big positive, I don't know, big positive energy for being fully voice acted. I think that's really cool. And the story is okay. Again, nothing incredible as far as story goes. I mean, honestly, as far as story goes, I don't think any of these games are going to be particularly good, except for maybe Return of the Obra Dinn. That's like, can you even call that a story? I don't think so. Yeah, Call of the Sea. It's a cool game. It's fine. I got it for free on Epic, so I can't complain. If you like those types of games, go for it. It's got a cool atmosphere and environment. It's set in like an island, a tropical island. So yeah. Loop Hero. Loop Hero is a good game. Loop Hero is a good game. That's going in A tier for sure. I played this game for a while actually, like 13 streams. It's super replayable. Like the replay value is through the roof. Obviously because it, like the whole point is that you get super OP over time. You can't really play the earlier stages anymore. But yeah, it's really cool. Just like getting stronger, powering up, learning more about the game and the interactions and the mechanics. It's a really fun game. And yeah, that's all I have to say about it. It's just a really fun game. I think it took me like 13 streams to beat stage 4. There's like still things that I could do. Like I didn't get all of the entries in the book. I didn't get all the lore tidbits with the, whatever. I'm sure there were other buildings that I could build. Like there's a lot that you can do in this game. Yeah. And it's like a relatively cheap game. And this is the game, almost forgot to mention this. This is the game that has really cool pixel art that I like a lot. So if you're into pixel art, check this game out. The artwork is amazing, and it's all pixel art. Think about that. I don't know if they like did some kind of like digital to pixel art translation. I don't think that's possible. I think the pixel art was all handcrafted. It's amazing. Even if you don't like pixel art that much or don't even want to play the game, just check out the artwork. It's really good. The gameplay loop is fun. Gameplay loop, haha, loop hero. Okay, I'm running out of steam here. I've been talking for a long time about something that I don't know anything about. I mean, I do know because I played all these games, but, Okay, Return of the Obra Dinn. I think I'm going to put this game in S tier. It is such a good game, and it is exactly the type of game that I like. It's a mystery, story-based, puzzle-based game. So cool. Oh my god. I did not know what I was in for. I like kind of knew what the concept of the game was, but once I actually got in, found out how the game works, what the goal of the game is, oh my god, I fell in love. You can't really replay it, which is unfortunate, but you don't need to. I think the final plot points were like meh, and I don't think there was necessarily a reason why it mattered, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know how to explain without spoiling it, but there's one chapter, I can't even explain that if you don't know the game. There's one part of the game where you can't find out until you leave and basically say, I'm done with the game, and then you play the actual final part of the game. I don't feel like there's a particular reason why it had to be that way, other than just to be like, oh, this is like a nice little conclusion. But yeah, the game is extremely challenging. I mean, I kind of did a little bit of just guess and check work, honestly. But that, that's the game. Still, if you like investigation games or detective type games, this is probably the best one that I played. I love the Ace Attorney games, and I love the detective aspects, and I still think I prefer the Ace Attorney games over Obra Dinn. But as far as pure detective gameplay, this game is unmatched, easily, in my opinion. Okay. What's next? Daemon X Machina. This game's fine. I actually did enjoy it. I was expecting it to be like meh, and it was kind of meh, but it's a cool game. And I think the fact that it was my first mech game made it so that I enjoyed it a little bit more, because it's like, whatever. You just chill, fly around, shoot things. I only died like once in the entire game. But yeah, like there's customization aspects, there's side missions, there's so many missions. I think my biggest gripes with it are that the story makes no sense, the characters are boring and cliche, and the customization doesn't feel as impactful to me, but maybe that's because I'm a casual player. I think as a casual player, I don't feel the impact of my changes in mechs as much. Also because the game is kind of easy. Game is kind of not difficult. I think the only time I died was like the final boss. Maybe I died once more before that. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of side missions, and like the concept of the game is really cool. It's just really cliche. The story is stupid. The gameplay is a little bit easy. Other than that, it's a fun game. If you want to like get an intro to mech games, try this out, and then I think people will say go play Armored Core after that. Black Sad is next. I think I'll put Black Sad in B. Like, my biggest complaint about this game is another detective type game where you walk around the world, interview people to get clues. But my biggest gripe is it's a linear story, essentially. And I feel like in these types of games where you quote unquote make decisions, again, I'm overusing that phrase, quote unquote, and I apologize. I don't know what else to say though. You make decisions in the game and the decisions don't matter, right? It's like the Walking Dead treatment where no matter what you do, the same thing is going to happen at the end of the game. There's literally 4 different endings, but they're all the same. Like all the 4 endings are the same. It's just one thing is different. It's like, was this character there at the end of the game? Yes or no? And that's it. So it's, yeah, I don't know. It is not what I would want out of this type of game, but it is still interesting, and like there is still detective elements to it, and so I did find that to be fun, and there is genuine mystery, and there were genuine plot twists that caught me off guard. And it has like the Sherlock games, kind of like take these clues, put them together, make a deduction, and like use that deduction to do other things. Like, so there is stuff like that in this game. It does have a cool gameplay core. I just wish your decisions mattered. I think that would have made the game a lot more interesting, in my opinion. After Black Sad is Agatha Christie, The ABC Murders. This game was mid-af. It's not a bad game. It's super short though, like way shorter than I thought it was going to be. I guess the book must have been really short. But yeah, really short game. Not for me. The detective stuff is okay, and there are definitely like decisions, but also once again the decisions don't really matter, and you can't really like miss vital clues, right? So you're kind of just left wandering around trying to find like the important stuff before you can leave. And yeah, I don't know, like even if you mess up royally, I don't think there's any way to actually lose the game. I think if the game was a little bit longer, maybe I would have enjoyed it more, but even then, I don't know. I don't know how to explain the difference between Agatha Christie, ABC Murders, and Black Sad. I think maybe Black Sad just had more charm. Yeah, I don't know. I think it just has more charm, and so it made it a more enjoyable experience than ABC Murders for me. After that is Bloodstained. This is another S tier, I think, and this is another Metroidvania, but this was the first time in a while that I like had to basically tell myself you are not allowed to play this game off stream. Because I wanted to play the game. Like after the first stream that I played it, I was like, dude, I want to play this game more, but I have to stop myself. It's super fun. It's made by the same guy who directed Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I think that's the deal. They're also like turning it into a franchise, which I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't really care. But yeah, if you like Metroidvanias, definitely give it a try. This is another one of those games where I really like the skill system. It's basically killing enemies gives you a chance to absorb their shard, which you can use as an attack or like skill or familiar. You can even have familiars. You can kill monsters and they'll become your follower and just do random crap. It's super cool. Like I said, RPG, Metroidvania, perfect combination. Symphony of the Night, if you liked that, probably love this game. It's a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. I do want to say I think that it's really exploitable. Like if you pick the right skills, pick the right weapon, you can breeze through the game. I kind of did that, so maybe I cheesed a little bit. It's like if you're into something that's more difficult, I don't know. Like I think the game is supposed to just be easy if you know what you're doing and hard if you don't. If that's not what you're into, maybe you can intentionally handicap yourself. I don't know. But either way, it's a really fun game, and there's again like really cool exploration stuff, really cool monsters, fighting things, leveling up, doing side quests. All that stuff is really fun. Orwell, Keeping an Eye on You. I misspelled it in my notes. I have notes to the side if you're wondering. I keep looking off to the side because I'm looking at the notepad of all the games that I played in the order that I streamed them. Orwell, this game's fine. It's another detective type game. I do think that the gameplay is really cool. I almost want, you know what? No, I'm going to put it up. I'm actually going to move it to B. The only thing is, again, it's another game where your decisions don't really matter that much. Like, they say stuff like, you better watch out what you put in here. But like, realistically, the same story progresses. It's just, like which characters do what, kind of, right? It's like you have the chance of like stopping a bombing, but if you don't stop the bombing, does it actually change anything? No. So who cares? Right? Like there don't feel to be that many stakes as far as the decisions that you make until the very end, because that affects the ending you get. But again, it's whatever. The final plot twist I kind of saw coming a little bit. I mean, I don't know. Whenever you make 20 predictions, one of them's bound to be right. But still, it's a fine game. There is a sequel. I am interested in playing the sequel, but I think the main reason for that is that the gameplay is just really unique. And I think that that's one of the things that I appreciate the most in games. I probably talked about it before, but unique gameplay is like my number one when it comes to games. And this game is definitely unique. You're basically like browsing through all these web pages looking for clues and like dragging the clues into like an automatic data feeder, which I think is really cool. All right, Wizard Chess. Sorry, not my favorite game. I mean, partially it was stained by the fact that I was playing like a bugged build. So the specific version that I happened to play had a major bug that would essentially restart battles randomly. It was very annoying. I had to restart the bosses like 20 times. It was not fun. It made for a very bad experience. But also just the game was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie, it felt very simple, very straightforward, very, like some units were very overpowered. The game has gone through a lot of iterations and remixes to try and get to this point. I think it just maybe is lacking a vision. I think maybe they found it, maybe they finally found something that they feel works for them. But like when you've renamed the game multiple times, when you've changed up the main gameplay multiple times, I guess that's not true. They haven't changed up the core gameplay, I don't think. But like, I never played the original version of the game. I don't know how to explain it if you don't know. But like, I don't know if I haven't played the original version of the game, so I don't know how much it strays from what it's like now. But I imagine they had a core gameplay that they wanted to turn into a game, and they didn't know how to make everything else around it. And so for me, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Where it's at right now is okay. It just feels underwhelming to me to play. Like, listen, all these chess variant type games, you can only do so much. At the end of the day, it's just a game where you move one piece at a time. Like, if there's not massive strategy involved, like chess, then I don't know. Doesn't seem as fun. Rain World. Sorry, you're the only F tier game. Listen, Rain World, it's the only game that I quit playing on stream. I think that says something. The atmosphere is amazing. I love the atmosphere. I love the concept of the game where you're running around as like a little guy trying to get food, trying to survive. I think that's cool. I love the art style. It's like pixel art. It's not highly detailed pixel art, but still it's pixel art, and I think that's cool. Game is unforgiving, extremely punishing, very difficult, and just not fun for me when I die constantly, nonstop, and then I have to grind for food or like, you know, replay the same section 20 times, dying over and over and over, die. And it feels like sometimes it's random. Sometimes there's literally nothing that I can do to survive because there's an enemy that just comes out of nowhere, or there's an enemy that was hiding there that I couldn't see. And like, sure, maybe there are technically ways that I can get around this and survive, but I don't want to spend 5 hours trying to get from point A to point B, right? Like, I don't want to play a walking sim. I'm not playing Death Stranding, right? I want to play a game that has a really cool atmosphere that I can explore and feel like I'm living in. But also, like, that's another thing, is that the exploration is cool, but you get lost so easily, and it feels like it's really difficult to know where you're supposed to go. At least in the early parts of the game, for me, that's how I felt. I don't know. It's a cool game. It's a cool concept. It just, I couldn't get past the frustration of playing the game. And again, that's me, right? Like, I don't like those types of games. Some people do. And some people are going to be better at the game than me. So that's just how it is. Down to the final 3. I think Backpack Battles is next. This game's cool, man. I don't know where they're at right now, like if they're planning a release. I don't remember when they planned their release, or if they have any like big new updates recently. Let's see, April 2024. This game's cool. I really think that this game could be pretty big. It seems like they're doing weekly updates for the demo, adding more items, adding more like recipes, doing balance changes. The gameplay loop is so simple, but also so deep, right? And I think that makes for a really good strategy game where it's easy to learn, it feels simple, and you can be bad at the game and still feel like you're doing something. Whereas the difference between a good player and a bad player is huge. I think that's really cool. I love the game. I love the concept, like the different items, the recipes, the combinations, the builds, whatever. It's a great casual game. It's a great competitive game. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's a great competitive game. I am not like high elo. I made it to like diamond, I think. But anyways, it's fun. I hope they keep developing it, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Next up, second to last, Pseudo Regalia. I think I'll put it in A. Honestly, I think I'm going to put this in A. It is also similar to a Metroidvania, but it's 3D. A 3D Metroidvania. I think that's sweet. Like the parkour and movement in this game rivals Ori in terms of movement. Ori and Pseudo Regalia are very close in terms of movement. In reality, Pseudo Regalia I think has more general options. It just, the Ori movement feels smoother. But yeah, the game is really cool. It's fun. It is short, which is unfortunate. The combat is like super oversimplified. There's like basically no boss fights. Essentially 95% of the game is just movement and parkour, which I think is fine. I do wish there was a little bit more combat though. I think that would be really interesting. But yeah, the game feels great to play. I wish there was more to it, but it's kind of a short game. I think it only took me like 2 or 3 streams to beat. I don't know. It is what it is. Like I said, I like it a lot. I think it's fun. If the developers make more games like this, definitely check it out. The story is stupid though. Don't care about the story. The story makes no sense. Anyways, I don't know. That's all I have to say about it. It's a fun game. It's really cool, and it's not super expensive either. I think it's like really cheap actually. Let me check. Store page. And you know, the main character is like a goat girl with thick thighs, so you know how it be. What am I trying on the store page? $6. It's a $6 game. I mean, come on. If you enjoy anything that has cool movement, or just like Metroidvanias where exploration is a big deal, please try this game. Like I said, it's cheap. And it's fun. So that's all I got. Okay. Last but not least. Game I've just recently completed 2 days ago. Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. This is the game that I have played the most hours of on stream, and also just have the most number of streams, which for a while that was not the same, just so you know. Like I said, way earlier in the stream, when I was playing Maiden Abyss, I played for more than 2 hours at a time. In fact, there were some streams I played like 3.5, 4 hours. Okay, so not the same thing necessarily, but this game has beaten both of those records. Where do I put it? I think I'm going to put an A tier. The thing is, it is a really good game, but at the end of the day, it's a JRPG, and it's hard for me to get into that when it feels grindy, repetitive, battles are slow, the story is meh, it's cliche, there's just a lot of running around, a lot of downtime. It's hard for me to feel invested in that, but the game is great. I think the characters in general are interesting enough. They're cliche. It's a game made for like all ages, so you know it's not going to be anything crazy. but the gameplay is cool. I love the familiar system. The equipment stuff is cool. The side quests are like cool enough. There's a lot of just extra content to do in the game, with like the exploration of like the hidden chests and all that. I think is really cool. The way that they've managed to integrate the lore and your character getting stronger, like earning more spells, so cool. I love that. There's a lot to love about this game, but I just can't get past the grindiness. It's not grindy, it's just, having to fight enemies, random encounters, all that stuff. It's one of my least favorite aspects of like JRPGs, is random encounters. In this game, you can kind of avoid it in some ways, especially with the Veil spell, or if you just have good movement. But still, it feels like a slog, right? Like 33% of the game was probably me in a battle, and 33% was probably me walking around the overworld. I don't know what the other 33% was. Maybe cutscenes, right? So when it's like that, I don't know. It's hard for me to enjoy, but it's still a really good game. And so if you like JRPGs, definitely check it out. It's got unique gameplay, but it's an enjoyable experience. There wasn't a single time where I was like, I don't feel like playing this. Okay, that felt like a lot longer of a stream than it was. It's only been an hour 16, but I am tired. Probably because I've been talking for literally an hour 16 straight. I guess not an hour 16 straight, because there was music playing at the beginning. But anyways, I've also been talking really quickly, and there's nobody here, and I'm tired. So I'm gonna end the stream here. But let me go ahead and download this, because why not? Oh, okay. Download image. Okay, cool. myimage.png. There you go. I downloaded the tier list, so I might post this on X or something. Why not? I played a lot of games, and it's been a long year. Almost an entire year since I started streaming. I don't remember exactly when I started. It must have been like early January. Not early. Late January. I don't know why I said early January. Early in the year, but late January. Can I find out? Yeah, I can find it. Yeah. My first stream was on January 19th. It must have been a Thursday, because my next 2 streams were on consecutive days, which should have been the weekend. So January 19th, it's been 11 months. 1 month will be my 1-year anniversary. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's been a wild ride. This is coming to the end of the year. I've had a lot of fun playing these games, and I played a lot of good games. Like I said, I was surprised at how many games I liked. Like, the A tier is huge, S tier is pretty large, B tier is decent sized, and there's not really that many things in C and below, right? Like, a lot of these C games, these were 1 streams. Like, these 3 games themselves were 1 stream. This was 1 stream, this was 1 stream, this was 2 streams, right? Like, most of these games down here were really short. Styx, well, we don't talk about Styx. Rain World, we definitely don't talk about Rain World. But these games were not much of my stream. Most of my stream was this. And I think that's cool. I think it's cool that I've managed to play a bunch of good games and expose myself to, like, just a bunch of stuff that I never would have normally necessarily cared to go out of my way to try. In general, I'm relatively stingy when it comes to money, but I've forced myself to buy and play games on stream. And I've forced myself to complete and finish games on stream. I've talked about it before, but that was one of my biggest reasons for, or not reasons, but like one of the biggest things I wanted to focus on when streaming is I want to actually complete games, because it's been such a problem for me, is just like burning myself out and not finishing games. I think I managed to get over that, at least a little bit, on stream. Anyways, like I said earlier, I'm getting kind of tired. I've rambled on for quite a while, so I'm going to leave you with this, and I'm going to say thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a good rest of your day or rest of your night, wherever you are in the world while watching this. And I hope you have a good holidays, if you have any holidays that you celebrate or have time off for. And if you don't, then I hope you enjoy the time that we are apart while I am on vacation myself. I should be back on the 9th of January, like I said. So, what, like almost 3 weeks? Almost, really close. Sorry about that, but that's just how it is. Yeah, that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you all later. I'm out of here. Peace out.